Welcome to, or welcome back to, the Agatha May Detective Agency. I'm Agatha May, and I'm so glad you're here. In a previous video about the Heather Turner case, I shared a police incident report where Andy Turner tried setting his ex-wife up for a domestic abuse charge, but failed. I thought it would be insightful to look at a few more reports from the Paulding County Sheriff's Department that involve Andy. If you need to get caught up on Heather's case, I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description box. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. You are helping me keep this thing going. I have been adding a lot of documents to the bonus materials section of the website, agathamay.com, and they're available to George Fain and Nancy Drew members. Now let's get into the episode and see why the dodo called the popo. We're starting with a report from 2008. Quote, on 3/15/08 at approximately 01:54, I responded a redacted address in reference to a possible domestic dispute. On arrival, I spoke with Mr. Andy Turner, who advised his wife, Mindy Turner, and her boyfriend were knocking on the door trying to start trouble. Mr. Turner advised he did not have a confrontation with the parties in person, but Mr. Brandon redacted, Mindy's boyfriend, did send some text messages. He advised one of the text messages was threatening in nature. He said it stated, I am. this is. It's another one where I have to laugh. He said it stated, I am going to enjoy kicking your ass. I asked Mr. Turner if he responded to any of the text messages, and he advised he did. He advised if possible he wanted to pursue charges on Mr. Brandon for the threatening text. Mr. Turner did advise that other than the comments from one side of the door to the other, he had no contact with his wife. I had no contact with Miss Mindy Turner or Mr. Brandon, since they were not on scene at my arrival. I advised I would document the incident, end quote. Andy is such a weenie. He should have at least made it a little more dramatic and said they were banging down the door. And we know that when he said he didn't have a confrontation with the parties in person, it means he wasn't opening the door because he was scared. But I'll bet he was still trying to talk a big game in those text messages. And as far as Mr. Brandon enjoying kicking his ass, I mean, form a line, right? And the following was added to this report, quote, on Thursday, 3/27/08 at about 14:57, reporting Detective R.D., Detective J.M. Maxwell with the Paulding County Sheriff's Office, was it at 247 Industrial Way, North Dallas, Georgia, 30132, when R.D. spoke with Redacted about this matter. During this time, Redacted stated that since about 1:29:08, she's received 30 to 45 text messages from Andy Turner. She stated that the messages have been threatening her job. She stated that Andy Turner was her boss and pastor at Cheatham Hill Baptist Church. She stated that he might be making these threats because Andy Turner blames her for all the trouble he's had due to an affair with another woman. The case is being forwarded to Lieutenant Mike Christopher, end quote. Let me just say that the name of that church is just chef's kiss. So Andy was harassing his employee and trying to get her fired. Well, maybe he was just trying to make her see that she had a lot more to offer than just working for some schmuck at a church. I'm not sure why Andy would blame this woman for the trouble he invited into his own world, but I'm also not surprised that he blamed anyone other than himself. Why wasn't Andy charged with harassing communications, though? And in late winter of 2009, Andy was calling the police again. Quote, February 9th, 2009, I was dispatched in reference to an entering auto complainant. I met with Mr. Turner, who advised he found his digital camera was missing from the trunk of his Nissan Altima. He advised he'd called 911 to report the theft, and then found the camera was returned to the trunk. He advised the only person who could have returned it was his wife, Mindy Turner. Mr. Turner checked the camera and found the pictures were deleted from the memory card. He advised the pictures were of injuries he received when Miss Turner assaulted him in a domestic violence incident. I advised Mr. Turner I would document the incident, end quote. Well, why wasn't there an incident report for the theft? I would think the 911 dispatcher would have sent an officer out to take a statement from Dodo and write a report. And if someone was really going to steal a camera because of incriminating photos, wouldn't they just steal it, delete the pics, and toss the camera? And please don't think that by me entertaining these possibilities, I believe there were photos of any injuries on Andy. I don't. I think he was making up the entire thing. By April of that year, Andy was running from the law. Well, kind of. On April 8, 2009, the Sheriff's Department attempted to serve a temporary order of protection that Mindy had taken out on Andy, and he pretended he wasn't at home. I'm not going to read this entire report, but what it boils down to is that Andy kept evading being served and even told police it was because his attorney told him not to get served. Andy finally decided he might as well get over it and met one of the deputies to be served the protection order. Quote, on April 8, 2009, Sergeant Mitch Hudgens attempted to serve a TPO on Mr. Andy Donovan Turner at address redacted. Sergeant Hudgens stated that he believed Mr. Turner was at home at the time and would not answer the door. He stated the television was on and some lights as well. End quote. Is there anyone else imagining Dipwad down on his hands and knees, peeking up over the windowsill to see if the deputy was still out there? He is such a doink. On June 30th, 2009, Andy called the police again. Quote, upon my arrival, I made contact with Andy Turner. Andy advised that he was going through a divorce with his ex, Mindy Turner. Andy advised that Mindy took items from their residence that was not awarded to her in the divorce, and that she damaged other property at their residence. Andy showed me a utility trailer that was damaged and took me inside the residence to show me where some of the items were taken from. Andy filled out a statement from listing the items taken and damaged that he knew of at the time. I advised Andy that I would do a report and attach his statement to my report. End quote. Well, in Andy's book, he said that Mindy had poured bleach on all of his suits except for one, and that she had left the water running and flooded the house. Funny that's not in the incident report. And it seems odd that Andy would have left all of his suits at the house he wasn't living in, though. Speaking of Andy's absolute turd of a book, remember how he made up the story about how his oldest son went to the sheriff's office in jail when he was 8, and how the jail staff supposedly stuck him in a cell with adult detainees and let him be sexually assaulted by them? Here's part of what he wrote after he claimed he called the jail raising all kinds of HE-double hockey sticks and spoke with the captain. When I told him the story, he said, "Sir, we do not have a Scared Straight program in Paulding County, and it would be illegal to perform on an 8-year-old. Then Andy claims that since he was driving a Porsche, he, quote, without a doubt, I pulled in at 3 times the speed limit and locked the car down, parking right in the middle of the lot, end quote. Well, simmer down, speed racer. You were driving a 2002 base model Porsche Boxster. A 2012 Volkswagen Golf can get to 60 faster than your car could. Anyway, Andy says that Gary Golidge, the sheriff at the time, met him at the door and apologized and said they had everything on video and that if Andy promised not to file charges, they'd let him have the video and the photos. Well, here's the police report that goes with that. Quote, August 10, 2015. On the above listed date and approximate time, I responded to Redacted Elementary School regarding a teacher wanting to report comments made against her on Facebook. When I arrived, I spoke to the teacher, Mrs. Feely, who is Andy's ex-wife, Mindy, by the way, who stated she is in an ongoing custody battle with her ex-husband, Mr. Turner, and believes that he is posting slanderous things about her and her current husband on Facebook. She added that the posts are coming from the profile Paulding County Skeletons and contain pictures and information that only Mr. Turner would know. She said the post contained a picture from 4 years ago when her juvenile son was taken on a Scared Straight tour of the jail, and a copy of a warrant issued for her current husband taken by Mr. Turner. Mrs. Feely showed me screenshots of the post, and the text included what the pictures alleged that Mrs. Feely stood by as her son was sexually assaulted and pointed out that she was a teacher at Redacted. They continued with saying the child was imprisoned at the county jail without the father's permission and making claims about other teachers having affairs at the school. Mrs. Feely wanted the pictures of her son removed, but had not heard back from Facebook's support team. I advised her that I would document the incident and forward the report to CID to be investigated. So once again, there's proof that Andy was lying right out of his stupid cake hole. He and his current wife have posted photos of that son at the sheriff's department on their various social media accounts, claiming that the sheriff's office allowed him to be SA'd. But that's just not true. He was there for a Scared Straight tour. And they both like to claim that there's no statute of limitations on child abuse in Georgia, but that's only for abuse that happened after 2012. This allegedly happened in 2011, So if the victim was under 16 at the time of the abuse, the statute of limitations is 7 years and starts when the child turns 16. And if any decent parent knew that their child had been SA'd, they would press charges. They would raise hell until somebody listened. So why Andy and company are still trying to make it sound like they could still press charges over a decade after it happened is ridiculous. Also, if this horribly traumatic thing happened to your child, why would you plaster it all over the internet and in a book? It just doesn't make you out to look like a good parent. So why am I bringing all this to light? To again show that Andy Turner isn't to be believed. And again, if he lies about everything, he'll lie about anything. I'll be going over a couple of other individual police reports, and we'll have those episodes published soon. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, and comment as this helps the channel grow. If you subscribe and feel as though you've missed some of my videos, check to make sure you have notifications on for my channel. If you'd like to financially support my channel so I can continue my work, you can become a member here on YouTube or on Patreon. Memberships start as low as $3 a month. Once I have all the videos posted about the police reports, I'll have them all available for George Fain and Nancy Drew level members. Stay tuned for more true crime. Until next time, stay safe and be happy.